Hello and good evening and welcome to Chevron Locked. Kevin, why do I fuck this up, dude?
Oh, because we're terrible people and we are awful at this.
I know, man, but you think we've had 22 episodes, down. You'd think at some point this would just come a little bit more natural for me.
Yes, I know, but everything's just flying apart. The glue is just dissolving. The tape has come loose. This has just been spit holding us together.
It really is, man. And you know what? I'm not even going to edit that. That's how we're starting this podcast. Kevin, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Awesome, man. So tonight we're on episode 23 of Chevron Locked. We are looking at, what the hell are we looking at these days, Kevin? I'm looking at everything. The Other Side, Upgrades, and Crossroads. That would be episodes 68, 69, and 70, and specifically 2, 3, and 4 of the newly found season 4 that we've just stumbled across last week. And it's been good so far.
That it has, or at least I think 2 of the 3 were good.
Yeah. You know is that weird that we're just constantly 2 out of 3 for the most part? Now, whether or not we agree with what that other episode is, I don't know. Maybe that's something like how the show's designed. You know,
I think it is. I think that they really, you have to justify your budget. You have to kind of make sure everything's going to work. So you can't put everything into one episode. You can't put all your good ideas in one episode. You want to, spread them out, but you don't want it too spread out. So,
yeah,
it's beats. 2 good episodes, an all right episode. I think that that's kind of how a lot of TV is. And I think, we see that with Netflix. They're changing some of how that works. With things like the Marvel things where there's too many episodes in those. And so I Defenders is going to be 8 episodes. And I think that they're looking at that like we can get more beats, spend the same amount of money, fewer episodes, and hit everything a little bit better. At least that's my hope.
I agree. But yeah, okay. So the weird part is, and I was getting ready to say, 8's the perfect number for me in terms of a season on something like that. But then you look at Game of Thrones, who successfully did 10 episodes for 6 years.
Yep.
And really, man, each one of those episodes is a home run, really.
No, it really is, but I think that's different again, because of the source material that they're pulling
I think
from.
so too. Yeah. I think that's your big difference right there. But I don't know. I'm kind of pumped for Defenders. I don't know. Speaking of Marvel though, are you all caught up on all the Spider-Man trailers that have been dropping?
Some. I've been, honestly, when it comes to this many trailers, I stop watching because I'm already excited about the movie. I'm going to see it. I'll be the first in line. I'll sneak myself in the back first showing. But
yeah,
I don't care enough to watch the whole movie in the trailers, which is what they do now.
It is. I'm hoping, so unfortunately I've been watching these things nonstop. And the last trailer that came out, I wish I hadn't seen because I think they did give away a little bit too much in terms of the overall plot of the movie. And there's still going to be a lot in there, but a lot of that stuff's just going to be your little one-liners and guest appearances and foreshadowing and shit like that. But they definitely gave away a little too much for my taste.
Yeah, no, there's another podcast that I listen to, The Weekly Planet, and they have this theory that the trailers that come out, the last couple of trailers are not for fans of the content. They're for the other people that they want to bring into it. Yeah. So that's why they ruin those things. That's why they put those juicy little bits in there. It's because they want as many people in those seats as they can get. And I see it, and I just wish it wasn't true. I think people would want to see movies more if there was mystery in it.
I completely agree. I really do. I think that with The Force Awakens, though, I thought those trailers were done fairly well. I felt like, I didn't know I was getting ready to see A New Hope all over again until I fucking sat through it, know?
No, and I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was a similar thing where they didn't put all the funny bits in the trailers. You didn't know the whole story arc. There were still things that were a mystery for me, and I think that that's perfect.
Yeah. No, that's how I want it to be. Speaking of trailers, and I'm sorry, I want to ask Kevin this, and then we will start on the podcast, on the episodes here. I just watched it. I think it came out yesterday, the Lucky Logan trailer.
I haven't watched it yet. My wife was telling me about it earlier. I have to watch it.
God. I was dying laughing based on that fucking trailer, dude. And I'm telling you right now, if Daniel Craig doesn't steal that fucking movie just based on what I saw in the trailer, I will be surprised.
Nice.
It is so fucking funny, dude. Absolutely, like, brilliant writing so far. And again, this is just off a trailer. Like, who knows what the actual movie's going to be, but I was impressed. So, yeah, as soon as we're done recording this, man, fucking spend 3 minutes of your life and watch that.
You got it.
Okay, so like I said, episode 23. We're going to get serious here. Other Side, Upgrades, and Crossroads. Why don't we start with Other Side? One of these days, we're going to start out of order. Just for our own entertainment, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We'll just to mess with everybody. Actually, quick aside, we were just talking about the Defenders. A guy
the Offenders?
The Offenders. That's the
That's
next,
that's
the
a
next
whole other
Marvel
group of
thing. Yeah.
people.
It's a totally different. Oh God, I'm so tired.
You have like Ike Turner and Jared from Subway.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
So anyway, Defenders, guy I work with just informed me that the reason he didn't like Iron Fist was because he watched episode 13 first and then episode 2 through 12 and never watched episode 1 until last night.
Why?
Because he screwed up. He hit play on Netflix and something happened and he wound up watching the last episode and then was confused for the rest of it. He's not the brightest, but I love him.
Oh God, that's awesome. That's awesome, dude.
And it's really funny because he ruins everything for me. If I haven't seen something, he will literally, without meaning it, talk about it and ruin anything. So I think it is fitting that he ruined it for himself.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Payback's
So,
for a bitch.
Anyway.
Speaking of ruining things, sorry, quick little another tangent. You work with the general public, as do I.
Yes.
Do you, and I think I was talking to you, before we started recording last week, we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I haven't seen it yet, and it's because someone unintentionally ruined, part of the ending, which we don't want to talk about clearly. But it was because I run a sports bar, and I was walking through the bar, and there were two gentlemen talking about the movie, and they were talking specifically about, I guess, one of the end scenes or whatever the case may be. And I was like, and I'm pissed, but I can't really be upset at them because they were having their own little conversation. I just happened to be walking by and fucking heard it. But does that happen to you? Like, will you have people talking at work, you know, like customers, like people that you just happen to intervene in a conversation?
Oh yeah. It's even worse because the furniture store I work at has a movie theater in it. And so
that's right. Yeah,
we get people that come out of the theater and they're like, oh man, I did not see David Hasselhoff pulling off that mask and being Beyonce the whole time. And it's
poor
thanks,
Jay-Z.
Thanks. Sorry, I don't know why my brain went to that as a spoiler, but
I have no idea. Between that and the Offenders possible new TV show.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm pitching a new TV show to Netflix, The Offenders. Oh,
there we go.
God. Holy shit, man. Wow. Okay, so let's focus here, motherfucker. You know, let's get back on track with the other side.
The other side. So the gang receives a phone call from the other side of the universe, and it is someone looking for God. And we are able to finally inform them that we are not God, and that 3 of their people have died trying to find us. We go through. It's a world at war. We have the ability to help them. They have the ability to help us. But then we find out that it's Space Hitler and his friends. Yay! And then we fuck them up and leave.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we did, sir. And what was his character's name from
Odo.
Odo.
From Deep Space Nine.
Yes, thank you,
Yes.
sir. Thank you.
Alar in this episode was Renee Aberjonas, and I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but
That's all
yeah,
right.
Odo.
I thought it was a very, very good start. Like anytime that an episode starts and the Iris is putting in work,
Oh yeah,
I'm in. Like
No,
you have me.
we've got that threat. You know, I am a little pissed that we did not get anything hitting the Iris. We got them telling us that 3 people had hit the Iris, and then later in the episode, when it actually happens, it's just a blip on the computer, and we don't actually hear it.
I know, and And that's awesome that this particular episode came up because it was something I was going to talk about last week, and clearly we didn't. But we haven't had a whole lot of Iris hits lately. Like, that sound effect has not been used properly lately.
Nope.
And we had a prime example that we could have started that episode, and it was a funny little start. You know, Jack's talking to Carter about how he thought he ordered her home or to relax or whatever. We could have cut out that humor and just gone straight to that thwomp, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
That would have been a way better start, I think. But
yeah.
So what were your thoughts on the episode?
I did like the episode. You know,
Okay.
I thought the visuals were good. I thought the idea was really good. You know, you had that ominous feeling throughout the episode, and I think I know that was intentional. So it worked. You know, it was fantastic. It was nice to have someone contact us for a change.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did like that aspect of it, because at some point I was starting to think, when do we start getting contacts? You know, like we're randomly dialing numbers. You know, it would go to reason that somebody else out there is also randomly dialing numbers, and you know, with enough time and the right amount of luck, they're gonna contact our gate. You know?
Not only that, but if in the story, Earth is where everyone came from, and so you would think that they would have the caller ID number for Earth, and they'd be able to just boop 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 *69 it, and you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I will say that it seems like a lot of the civilizations we've seen, with a few exceptions, they aren't quite there yet in terms of getting how the Stargate works and understanding that, you know, because at least from their point of view, or at least the way I understood the episode, is that they understood that they did not originate from that planet. Like, that was clear to them, and that they understood that this address, these symbols, was a direct link to the planet of their origin. Is that how you understood it too?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess my point is that we just haven't met a whole lot of civilizations that have gotten to that point yet, you know? Either, like we saw last week or 2 weeks ago, where you have, like, the religious standpoint of it, where you have half the planet that was arguing that, you know, they were created there, and then the other half was arguing that they were brought there. We haven't had a whole lot of that culture yet. So I thought that was really fucking great.
No, I thought it was neat, you know, and this is the trope of sci-fi where everything is consistent, where you meet people and they're one government. So I thought it was great that we're getting only one side of this story.
Mm-hmm. And again, it leaves itself open to the idea that maybe we could revisit this.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, like it didn't, and again, a theme that me and you talk about quite a bit is that these episodes, most of these episodes are written so well that they're left kind of open-ended, that maybe we could go back at some point, you know? And what's even crazier is that you get some of these more well-known actors to play some of these roles, you know, and people get a little bit more excited. There was something on, I don't know if you saw that, there was something on the Stargate subreddit the other day that somebody had just realized that James Earl Jones voiced the Unas.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, and Stargate fans on that subreddit were kind of blown away. There were quite a few there that was like, oh my God, I never realized, you know, that he did that back in 97 or whenever that episode came out. So every now and then, you know, it's nice to get a more well-known actor or voice actor, or whatever the case may be, to mix some of these episodes up as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it brings some fans of them to it, and it also expands the quality of the show, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say that, and this is going to take me some time, okay? I'm still adjusting, but Tilk's little soul patch, when his first scene on camera, I was like, ugh, what the fuck? You know? I was like,
you got a caterpillar there, buddy. Hold on.
What is that, man? Yeah, you know, that still threw me off a little bit, but.
Does he have that from now on, or do we get rid of that at some point?
Well, we do get rid of it at some point, because then we get the hair.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think when the caterpillar turns to a butterfly, Tilk grows hair.
Spread your wings, little guy.
We're idiots. what else did I have? Oh, so the first time when SG-1 decides that they're going to go to this planet that's we supposedly is having this massive war and this massive crisis, they're entered into what I would describe as the war room, right?
Yeah.
When they first walk in there, that was, to me, when I first saw when that scene first started, I was like, oh my God, that's the bunker from Star Wars. Like that it was very reminiscent of, I was just waiting for a 3D hologram of the Death Star to pop up.
Yeah, it had
out of
that
that center console. It really did, man. The looks were fan-fucking-tastic. And then there was a couple of parts towards the end where he brings out like those crystals that store all of their knowledge. I was like, that looks like something I would buy at Spencer's Gifts in like 1987. But other than that, man, it had a bit of a... Did you ever see The Lawnmower Man?
I did, yeah.
Okay, it had a bit of a Lawnmower Man vibe too for me a little bit, like when the whole almost VR thing, that Jack jumps into. So
with the weird lasers in his eyes and it was a little odd.
A little odd, kind of Max Headroom meets Lawnmower Man vibe, I guess.
Yeah, but this had little touches of that, like weird futuristic, like the glasses they were drinking out of at dinner. Those are the most inconvenient, uncomfortable glasses I've ever seen. So
that's how you know they're futuristic.
Exactly. You're going to take a drink and you have to like either turn the glass all the way. It looked like somebody was in a bar fight and broke the bottle. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, no, I agree. And at what point, this was something I had in my notes, and I'm so glad that The Other Side was the first episode before we got upgrades. But at what point does the SGC, or specifically SG-1, just stop fucking around with alien technology that they don't thoroughly understand?
Never.
Like, and I understand that if they did stop messing around with it, this would be a very boring show. You know, I
there's
get
no
it.
story in that.
But like Jack just, they're like, "Dude, do you want to try out this? You want to try flying one of these planes?" And he's like, "Yeah, fuck it, okay, I'm in." And he just crawls in there. He's like, "So wait, these are unmanned?" And they're like, "Yeah, for the most part, they're unmanned."
Yeah, I love that little reveal where they're like, "Oh yeah, no, the drones are unmanned," and then they never bring it up until Jack sees a guy splat on his windshield like a bug.
I know. I watched that. I rewound it when he's like, "There were people in there." I'm like, "There were?" So I rewound it and I'm like, "Okay, Jack, if you say so," because I didn't see shit.
I did. I saw the guy.
It?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. I missed it then. Oh man. But at some point, there's just no thought process sometimes when it comes to their alien tech.
Yeah, no.
But I agree with you that I did like the episode quite a bit. Partially for the nice little quasi twist at the end, and you kind of get the big reveal and the big payout. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I also thought that Daniel, at the start of that episode, Daniel's about to ready to plead his case on why we should go through that Stargate.
Right.
And as he's talking, Hammond's like, "Yeah, okay, go." And, he does that whole comedy spit where he's still talking and shit. But I think that this goes to show that they're just so eager, like we're still very much cart before the horse, in some of these episodes. And I like that, though, because in this one, it didn't pay off well for them. That they trusted the wrong person without getting the right amount of information. And, Jack killed a few people. And who knows what else damage came because we brought hard water,
Yeah, but I think, they were out of it. We didn't give them enough to get through what we had with the hard water, and the thing that used it exploded. So I think that's sort of a non-starter, but you're right. We upset the balance of this by destroying the guys we were originally there helping. So hopefully that works well, but also hopefully the Stargate's buried.
And there was a great little conversation. Carter, the one guy's explaining what he needs, and Carter's like, "Oh yeah, it's hard water." And she goes, "Oh yeah, that's hard water." And then immediately looks at Jack and starts explaining hard water.
I know what hard water is. No, you don't.
Yeah, but that's so good that relationship, like in the show, she has just learned that she immediately has to look at Jack and start explaining it to him like he's a 4-year-old, you know? And then he was like, no, I know what hard water is, you know? I thought it was a very cute little scene, but
yeah.
Yeah, that was all the notes I had for that one.
I only have one more. The main female in this,
Yes.
later married Peter DeLuise.
Are you serious?
They were dating well before this episode. This is not how they met, but yeah, that is his girlfriend at the time. And they wound up getting married in 2002.
Holy cow.
Yeah, thought that was kind of neat.
Good for DeLuise, man. He kind of outkicked his coverage there. She's not ugly.
Yeah, I know.
She was really easy on that. It's good for him, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was in 21 Jump Street, though, wasn't he?
He was.
With Johnny Depp?
Oh, yeah, no, he absolutely was. Robin Givens and Johnny Depp and that Asian dude, whom I can't remember his name right now.
Right, so she's his consolation prize. You know, not famous like Johnny Depp, get a girl.
Yeah, I wonder if they still talk.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
What are the chances we can get him on the show?
Let's ask.
I think we should ask. Because question number 4 would then be, do you still talk to Johnny Depp? And he's like, dude, we get drunk every Tuesday, you know? Like, I'd be like, that's so awesome.
We're coming next time. Let us know.
Yeah. Can you bring that party to Michigan and then we'll wrap around to the East Coast? And,
nah, son. Yeah, we'll go to Boston.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. They just have to stop and pick me up in Michigan. That's all.
There you go.
Okay, so let's look at upgrades, sir.
All right. So, in upgrades, the girl from Weird Science shows up with a bunch of bracelets for the crew. And when they put them on, they become super happy, jolly, punchy, run fast people that decide that they don't need anybody else's help to go fuck up the Goa'uld. So they go and they do it. And of course, shit hits the fan and they almost die until Teal'c rescues them as he always does.
Yeah, he really did. That chick was in Weird Science?
Yeah, she was in that's Vanessa Angel. She was in the Weird Science TV show.
Oh, I thought
she was also
about the movie.
No, she was also the female lead in Kingpin, the movie.
That's where I knew her from.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah, she's not ugly herself, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, not at all.
She's fairly attractive. Yeah, I didn't know Weird Science had a TV show, man.
Oh yeah, no, actually, I'm not going to say it was a really good TV show, but it was a really important cornerstone in my formative years.
Did she play the Kelly LeBrock character?
Yes.
Oh, God, when would that have come out then?
I don't even know. I'm trying to look it up.
1994 to 1998. Wow. That's crazy. Sorry. This was completely way off topic, but that's that blows my mind. And they're still Gary Wallace and Wyatt Donnelly. They're still using like the full fucking characters from Weird Science, just as a different version of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, good for her. Anyway, so first note I had was when she comes through the Stargate, that look on Jack's face, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just was a awesome, like, what is that? Or who is that look, you know?
Yeah, well, he's used to old people and assholes. Instead, he got a young person and a bitch.
Did that dude have any lines?
Mm-mm. No,
he just stood there and carried a box.
Pretty much, yeah. That was, if you look in the credits, he's box carrier. I don't know if that's true. I just made that up.
Well, no, it's true now, dude. Like you've put it out there, so it's truth. And then what else did I have? Oh, yeah. So she's bringing these gloves, basically the Power Glove from the NES, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's what they modeled that off of.
Very close.
And so Jack's the first one to get his glove, and they're running all these tests, and, you know, he knocks out Teal'c and shit like that. And, before we even get there, maybe I can't remember if it happened before. The Spider-Man quote.
Yes, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, that is a very Spider-Man quote. Like, I've never heard that quote. I've never heard those words together outside of a Spider-Man universe, whether it be in comic form, in movie form, in cartoon, or whatever. Like, that is a very specific Spider-Man reference.
Oh, very much so. Like, there's no two ways about that. That was a Spider-Man reference. And I feel like the bar scene in this was also a Superman reference, because there was that Superman movie with Christopher Reeves where Superman loses his Superman powers, and he winds up in the movie going back to the bar, and the guy makes fun of him and he fucks the guy up. And I feel like that was Daniel's moment for that, and it didn't make sense for me because the guy was calling Daniel a geek and Daniel wasn't wearing glasses, and it just didn't fit the tone, and I think they were trying to shove it in there.
Yeah. I agree that they could have even gone a different route where you had like two fucking meatheads making some cat calls to Carter or something like that.
Sure.
And that scene could have worked out a little bit better.
Absolutely. Would have given it more strength. It just needed one more round of revisions.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know, the Spider-Man quote, you know, when we're forced on this whole idea that they're becoming superhumans, or, you know, they've got superpowers now, and then you throw a fucking Spider-Man quote in there. I'm like, yeah, I get it, you know?
Yeah.
But, so Jack gets his powers first. And I don't know why it made me laugh, but the line actually did make me laugh. You know, she's like, here, hold this and squeeze, and he's squeezing it, and she's like, you know, your strength is 5 times that of a normal human. And he's like, oh, so nothing's changed yet.
Right.
I was like,
typical Jack. Like that's an answer I would give.
Typical Jack, dude.
That is definitely right up my alley.
Yeah, no, the line was so well played. Richard Dean Anderson's comedic timing is fantastic.
Oh yeah, and he's such a good straight man.
Yeah, he really is. And again, I'll echo something that we've talked about before. That was amazing casting to get him in the role.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it was an amazing creative decision to change the O'Neill character around, you know?
Absolutely. But even from the start, I mean, as weird and slow and awkward as the start of this was, even from the start, they had a vision that was different than the movie, and they stuck with it. And it is that vision, that driving vision that shows and movies need, that they don't often have.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, okay, I'm trying to think here now. If at any point before this show, I was watching a TV show that was a direct representation of a movie, and I can't think of an example right now. So this would be if somebody was like, oh, is there ever a TV show that was made from a movie that you really liked? This would be my go-to reference. I was going to say Young Indiana Jones. That was the other one I could remember. But.
I don't want to, you know what? Young Indiana Jones was terrible. No offense to Sean Patrick Flannery. He did a fine job with it. But when I hear Indiana Jones, I want Indiana Jones. I'm laughing because I just made a video about this and posted it on the Nerdy Things YouTube, saying the exact same thing, because they are making a movie for the Uncharted video games using Tom Holland as a younger version of the main character.
Yes, I saw that.
What is drawing people to this is not necessarily the character, but by that same token, they don't want a younger version of that character. They want the character. I don't want young Indiana Jones. I want Indiana Jones.
Well, isn't it? I think that what I understood was that they were using Tom Holland in flashback scenes.
That's what I thought. I'm not sure of that anymore.
Oh, that could completely change my perception of that idea at that point.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, Indiana Jones, Young Indiana Jones, it's kind of a good fucking show, dude. I'm sorry.
All right. You know what? A better show, same type of thing. Briscoe County Jr. Boom. Mic drop. We're done. Moving on.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to pick that mic up, and I'm just going to say that until you have watched the movie Over the Top, me and you have nothing to talk about.
All right. We'll come back to this.
Well, okay. The Evil Dead. There's another prime example. The new Evil Dead TV show.
Okay, yeah, but that's a continuation of the story.
You're
that,
right. You're right, actually, yeah.
I mean, not that Stargate isn't, but it's the same character, it's the same actor, it's the same story.
Yeah.
And so I think it does fall under a different type slightly different thing, you know?
Yeah. No,
but
I agree.
I mean, even in that, they changed the story so much for weird reasons that I don't understand. You know what? I'm not going to get into it because I'll lose my brain.
Fair enough. No, you're good. You're good. So anyway, I'm going to try to, I don't remember how we got off on that tangent there, but, we were talking about the casting of Richard Dean Anderson and the changing up of that character.
Yep.
And I agree with you that, that change had to be made to carry on a longevity for that team, you know, like, because if you wouldn't have done him, then Richard Dean Anderson then becomes more of the Teal'c-like character, like the very straight-laced,
right,
no nonsense, we're getting the job done type of character, and then you have to bring in another, because you have to have some comedic relief in shows like this.
You do, and I think if we brought in an alien character that was comedic relief, it would grate on my nerves, and it would be so annoying.
Yep.
And I think that this works.
I think that with you bringing in an alien character as a comedic relief, you would rely too much on the, it's funny because we had a misunderstanding on what this is, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah, the fish out of water aspect.
Yes, correct. And it works so much better in this format because you can just pepper in those little things, you know, like you just pepper in the fish out of the water stuff. So
yeah,
we're due for one of those too, I think.
Yeah,
we haven't had a good Teal'c-ism in a while. Man, we're overdue on so much shit. Daniel hasn't died recently.
No, but
we haven't gotten any audible fucking gate noises. Anyway,
I contend that Teal'c and Sylar both died this episode, and that everything from now on is just a fever dream because Jack punched Teal'c so hard that he is dead. There's no two ways about that. And then when he left at the office after being berated, and he meets Sylar in the hallway and gives him that shoulder punch and knocks him off that railing, Sylar's dead too.
Yeah. I would contend that Teal'c has the best chances of survival.
Yeah, because of Junior.
Because of Junior and the fact that he's a warrior. Sylar, he's dead as fuck. He is. Sorry, Sylar. You're a good man, but you're dead. Like, what did he end up with? A concussion and a broken wrist or something?
I don't even know. Yeah.
Definitely. It was something. It was minor injuries, basically. I mean, you got hit by the equivalent of like a fucking semi, basically.
Yep.
And you broke a rib, or you had a concussion. Like,
yeah.
You came off lucky, Sylar. That'll teach him. He needs to like just shut up and do his job.
Don't ever be nice to someone. They'll punch you and kill you. It's awesome.
They will. Yeah. Just put your head down and walk around like the rest of us zombies, you know?
Yeah.
Did you have any other notes about upgrades?
A couple of others and one really nerdy one. Let's start with the non-nerdy one. That was a really cool looking ship design that was being built that they went in and blew up.
Yes, it was.
But
we didn't talk about that. Yeah.
But I mean, we've got like 6,000 years of them building the same ship. Looks the goddamn same. And then 3 years after we start fighting them, they come up with this weird and wacky stuff. I don't know. Just build more of them. More of them are going to destroy us. You don't need something bigger and better. We've got nothing to fight you with. Show up at Earth.
But we have friends.
Yeah.
And isn't that kind of a weird thing that, like, realistically, the SGC has truly no way to defend itself? It's basically, you know, counting on and crossing fingers that, you know, the Asgard show up.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's where we're at right now. Like, we're still not out of a place. Let's just say, in show TV time, it's been like 5-6 years. We're still not at a place where we can successfully defend ourselves from a full-on Apophis says, fuck it, no more games type of attack. Yeah, we're done. We're Dunskies. If the Asgard, you know, they're on the other line, they can't get to us right then and there, we're fucked.
Yeah, all they have to do is show up with ships, time it so that one of their boys back home dials the Earth, and we're done. 38 minutes later, we've got nothing.
Yeah, we're eradicated, dude.
You know, and when they were on that ship and Teal'c shows up to save them, and he zats one of the guys. I love how the other guy doesn't even look where the Zat blast came from, just starts firing it at Sam and Jack. And It's like, buddy, he's like 2 feet away from you. You can see him. His arm is hanging out of the hallway. He's like a 2-year-old hiding behind a street sign.
Yeah. And side note, those Zat guns I'm so glad that those are becoming more of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such a great piece of technology, and I really like the look of the force fields, I guess, for lack of better terms, like when when Carter decides that they can basically flash through them, just speed their molecules up. I loved the visual looks there. I really did.
That was super cool. And, speaking of the super speed, that was the really nerdy thing I had, is you can tell that the government computers had not upgraded, or at the very least, Windows 2000 was not available then, because with Windows 2000, they got rid of the typing buffer so that Carter would not have been able to type ahead the way she did.
Ooh, buddy.
Sorry.
That is a deep cut amongst the deep cuts, my friend.
I used to play Quake 2, and I had this weird key set up, and when I upgraded to Windows 2000, it no longer worked because I was holding down too many keys at the same time.
What?
Yeah. When in Windows 98, you could hold down, because I'd hold down like 3 keys at a time and it was fine, but in Windows 2000 it wouldn't let you hold down 3 keys at a time because it wouldn't take the input from it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it was something weird with how it worked, and it was a big thing for like nobody. It was me and one other guy crying about it.
Oh, I'm sure there were some early PC gamers there that because you're talking about, did you just make macros for him or something?
Yeah, so when I played Quake 2, if I held down the W key, it would give me access to different keys than if I was not holding it down. And so I'd run around, and with W down, 2 would be the rocket launcher, but with it up, it'd be the pistol. And I don't even remember how the hell it worked, but my fingers remembered all the keys to hit, and I could never duplicate it from that.
No, I'm sure you weren't the only one, dude. There were some PC raging fanboys back in the day that were probably very upset about that. And that's so weird for the writers. Well, maybe not. Maybe they just didn't realize they're like, nobody's going to pay attention to this.
No, I mean, that's something that would have happened. Like, she could have typed that fast, and it would have got caught in the buffer and caught up to her.
That's fucking hilarious. It really is. No, and you spoke of the boxing scene where Jack knocked Teal'c out. The visuals I thought were really good in this episode.
Yeah.
Really, really good, actually.
Yeah.
Other than the actual arm device, I thought looked a little cheesy. I don't know. For what I'm assuming was a very advanced civilization that could create something like that, it just looked really wonky.
Yeah, but we don't know what their physiology really looked like.
That's true. They could have been, you know what it reminded me of, actually? It looked like it could have come from that underwater lair in season 1.
Sure.
You know? Like, it was very much reminiscent of what his home looked like underwater.
Yeah, I mean, it had elements of things that we've seen before, so it wasn't out of line with other things, but it was a little oddly shaped. It reminded me of a bug.
It did. It did kind of, or almost like a what's oh shit, what's the Egyptian bug? The scarab?
Yeah, scarab.
Scarab, yeah, scarab, yeah. It did kind of look like that though, actually.
Yeah.
Good job.
Weird.
Hey, we're both weird, dude. We do a podcast about Stargate because we love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to Crossroads, and no, you go ahead.
All right. So in Crossroads, once again, we get a middle of the night booty call from some chick who wants to, see if Teal'c's up to anything. And she comes through the Stargate and informs us that she has communicated with her symbiote and turned it into a totally nice dude. And so we contact the Tok'ra. They send through Anise, and we talk to them and they decide that, hey, everything is hunky-dory, and they put that Goa'uld into an unsuspecting person, and that person is now completely controlled by the evilest Goa'uld we've come across so far. Yay! Yeah. And nobody does a thing about it.
Nobody, dude. No one.
Nope.
Okay, I will say that this is the episode I have almost 0 notes for, because even though I felt like it propelled the story further,
yep,
I was incredibly bored watching this episode.
You too. I literally have 0 notes on this episode.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was like, really? Like, the love interest and, like, don't get me wrong, I love Teal'c-centric episodes. In fact, some of the best episodes to me are when they are character-specific episodes, you know? Like, when you have a very heavy Jack episode. And the Teal'c ones, by far, usually take the cake for me. I don't even know what to say, man. It's just, like, I was glad that we had, out of these 3 episodes, this was the episode that propelled the overall narrative, the overall story a little bit further. But I was just so bored watching it. I was like, because I really did, man. I loved The Other Side, and I loved Upgrades. So when we got here, I was just like, I don't know. I was just wasn't feeling it, I guess.
No, I agree with you 100%. I just didn't feel like this was necessary. I mean, we had, I don't even know. I mean, it felt like a booty call for Teal'c. Like, we're getting this sense that, like, years ago, even when he was married or before he was married, or I don't even know the timing of it, he had this weird relationship with this woman who then went into the service of the temple. And that seems, I mean, because that was something that used to happen a lot when people got pregnant and they didn't want to own up to it. So I'm wondering if there's not another little Teal'c running around.
Yeah. Introduce us to another one. I agree with you there, though, man. I do. I don't know. Like I said, I just found it to be a little bit of a fucking boring episode, really.
Yeah. Well, and then when they out the Goa'uld and all the, you know, the SG-1 team is like, hey, we figured out he's a bad guy, and here's 6 reasons why. Which felt like a video from like break.com. But they're going through the list, and then the Tok'ra are like, yeah, we know. We've known, we suspected, which seems to be their trope, because they did that in Upgrades. They gave us the thing, and then they're like, oh, BT Dubs, we got this thing we want you to do, and we totally didn't know about it until just now, except here's these plans that took us a month to come up with. And then they did it again with this, where they're like, oh yeah, no, we knew he was bad, and we totally let this guy just take this Goa'uld in because we didn't know he was bad. I don't, you know, which way is it? But then she's like, oh, we wanna feed him information, so we wanna let him think he's fooled us. And then they let Teal'c go in and give him the side eye.
Yeah. So, the Tok'ra are real assholes, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I've gotten. 2 out of these 3 episodes say that the Tok'ra are kind of turning into assholes, and they're trying to kind of using the SGC as their lapdogs here.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, where's Sam's dad? You know, he seemed to be a calming influence on them, and sort of that driving, guiding force that they needed. And I think that perhaps they couldn't get that actor back, so they went with someone else that brings them in a different direction.
You know, I actually really agree with you there, because I think that if you put Carter's dad in there in Upgrades and even put him towards the late middle of this episode, in Upgrades it works a lot better, because I think that it becomes a different story there. I think that because I don't think that Carter's dad. One, I do believe that the Tok'ra did have this knowledge, and we're going to try to use the SGC to get in there, knowing full well that they couldn't, pardon me, that they couldn't use those devices because of their DNA, you know, because of their symbiotes. And I think that episode becomes completely different if Carter's dad's involved, because I don't think Carter's dad allows that secret to be hidden. I think that's something he pretty much says from the get-go, like, hey guys, we've got these devices. You can kind of become the Flash and Superman, but we're going to need you to do us a favor, you know?
Maybe, but the other thing is, even if he did keep it a secret, that would be expected for me. Like, he's a military guy, need to know, like, wheels within wheels, subtext type of thing, but he's competent and he has a dog in this fight. So he wouldn't intentionally put anyone that we know into danger, where this chick would. And we don't know how competent she is or what her agenda is, where we do know his. So it does change the flavor, even if the exact same ingredients are in it.
Well, and I could tell you, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure her angle is trying to get in bed with Jack towards the end of Upgrades. That's for sure.
Well, maybe, but you know,
there's a little winky right there when they're saying their goodbyes. You know,
true. And, you know, maybe she's just happy he's not as fast as he was prior.
What?
You know, hey, I get
what you're putting down.
There's pills for that.
Wowzers. Name brand or generic? What do you like to go with?
I wouldn't know.
I wasn't assuming you did. I just figured you had a conversation with somebody. That's all. But yeah, that's really all I had for those 3 episodes, sir.
Yeah, that's all I get too.
Okay. Well, excellent. I guess I should probably figure out what we're watching for next week, actually, huh? It looks like Divide and Conquer, Window of Opportunity, and Watergate. And I just want to say this, right? I want to say a couple things real quick. The first one being is that on that Stargate subreddit, Window of Opportunity comes up a lot, right? And it usually comes up in a very positive light that it tends to be a lot of people's favorite episodes. And side note on that, people do a great job of putting spoiler tags in their subreddit or in their Reddit posts on that Stargate subreddit, and I appreciate that because I truly don't remember Window of Opportunity, but I'm so excited to watch it based on how much it gets mentions on the subreddit. And yeah, I don't know where else I was going with that. So anyway, Divide and Conquer, Window of Opportunity, and Watergate. Do you remember Window of Opportunity, or do you kind of see that too? Because I know you're on the Stargate subreddit also. Do you see, like, it comes up quite a bit, or is it just me?
No, I do see it in there quite a bit. I'm not sure what it's about, but I don't, because I don't remember it. But I do remember Watergate a little bit more, so I am looking forward to that one.
Okay,
but I think it's going to be a really interesting week to talk about.
We get 2 Martin Wood episodes and a Peter DeLuise episode next week, by the way. Martin Wood, who did Small Victories and Upgrades.
Yes, yeah.
So, now, did you say Watergate you think is when we get a little bit more closure on the Small Victories angle?
I know it is. I know enough about it to know that. I was just
curious because Martin Wood would have directed both of those episodes.
Yeah.
So, and Robert Cooper wrote both those episodes.
Yeah, you do see some of that in shows like that. Like Doctor Who does that a lot too, where you'll get certain stories that move ahead depending on who wrote the episode.
Okay, that seems fair. But yeah, thanks again for all the feedback, all the downloads, all the comments. We both appreciate them. I appreciate just knowing that people are listening to us and enjoying what we have to say about this stuff. It's such a great show, and I know that there have been other Stargate podcasts, and there currently are other Stargate podcasts. So we just appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out our version of a Stargate podcast. So
yeah, send us your comments, your love, your hate, send it all.
Yeah, send not your nudes, maybe your nudes.
Well,
we'll talk. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to single anybody out. You know, maybe I want to see them. You know, who knows? But yeah, descriptions or all of our tags and everything are going to be in the show notes, like always. Kevin, when are we set to pick up the RPG? Is that like next week?
Yeah, we are going to be recording it Monday, and then I hope to have it up later in the week for download.
Side note, you did a fantastic job with the editing of that last one, man.
Thank you. I like to think so. It was a lot of fun. I loved putting in the sound effects, and I think it added a little bit of depth to it.
It did, though. It did. It completely changed how listening to it, like versus when we recorded that. Like once you added those sound effects in there, it became a whole new entity. It became a whole new thing, and it sounded fantastic. So good job on that. So we're gonna edit this down. We're going to upload this one. And we will have a season 3 recap coming up as well. And then we'll have next week's episode and the continuation of our Stargate RPG tabletop game. So thanks again. Descriptions and links for everything are in the show notes. And everybody have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Chevron Locked. As always, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Chevron Podcast, emailing us at thechevronlocked@gmail.com, or join us on our subreddit at Chevron Locked.